Happy New Year! Today I'm going to do a 30-minute power clean of my balloon shop. It has never been this disorganized before. There's everything from garbage that just needs to be thrown away to things that need to be put away, and the majority of the clutter is because of things that just don't have a space. So things that can't be put away because I don't know where they go. So today I'm going to try to tackle those areas. First, I just want to do a full clean sweep of the place, get all of the junk, old balloons, clutter, boxes. There's just so much in here that has piled up over the last couple weeks as I kind of crawled past the finish line of 2024. And then I need to put things away where they go. And then the last big task is to identify those things that don't have a home, because I have an employee starting with me next week and I want most of the shop management to fall under her job description. So everything from unloading the van to putting things away to restocking balloons and eventually ordering inventory. So it's not really fair to put someone in the position to do that when there are no systems in place and not everything has a home. So first I'm just going to take you on a little walk around and show you what is working, and then kind of talk through some of the things that I know are not working. Okay, so this is where I enter my shop. In general, this is a huge problem zone because I tend to just drop things after a job. So I put in these floor to ceiling shelves, and those are great. It's given me a lot of storage. A big problem there is that things aren't labeled, so the shelves quickly get messed up, and I think in general they're just kind of underutilized. I also have this big filing cabinet here that's totally empty, and then you can see this is another just drop zone where I leave bases and sandbags, but that's an issue because this is also where I do my helium. So a lot of balloons get left here, and then I'm tripping over bases. This helium tank is supposed to go over there, but I can't get to it. So this zone in general needs to be streamlined a lot. Okay, this is the back of my shop, and this actually is working really well. So these are all my marquee letters, and I'm happy that they fit in my shop. I don't have to go to a storage unit to pick them up, which is really important to me. So this system is all labeled. It's working really well. Everything has a place. The biggest problem is that you can't get to the letters easily because of the clutter. So these are starbursts. I want to get some magnets or some clips or something on the ceiling so I can save these and keep them up off the ground. I don't have a ton of ceiling space, but I think what I do have is underutilized. The other thing on the floor here is a couch that I pulled off the curb because I thought it was really cute. I thought I might use it for something, but now it's just been sitting here in the way for like 6 months. So I need to either get rid of it or I need to find a home for it, and I don't know, it's looking unlikely that it's gonna have a place in here because it's cute, but I rarely come out here and just like sit, so it's probably gonna go. Another area where things I would say are sort of working are these shoe organizers that I have hanging up around the space. So I have all of my jumbos in here, all my 3-footers, and in general I would say that this system is good, but then random things find their way in here, like extra 260s or 5-inch balloons, even though I have a whole other place for 5-inch balloons. So this gets like a B+. I feel like I just need to stick to this system and kind of organize a little bit. One huge area that is totally working is my color organization. And I should say that with a caveat. The system itself is working beautifully, and that this is my back stock. So these are my balloons, and I have a cubby for each color. I have 11-inch and I have 18-inch, so everything has a place and I can see it. For me, that's really important to be able to see the balloons so that I can see, you know, visually when I'm out of a color. Like spreadsheets and anything closed containers just aren't going to work for me. So this is kind of the balloons that I have waiting to be used. The other side of my shop, this wall is also working really well. These are my jars of balloons that I'm actively using. So people will question that. They're like, why would you have your balloons in 2 places? Why would you keep bags and jars? Each jar holds 100 balloons, so I know how many are in there, and these are easy to take on the go and bring with me. And if you're working out of the jars, you're able to grab those really, really quickly. I think of that as almost like a palette if you were a painter. Like that's what you're working with in the moment. However, if you run out, that's when you go to the other wall and you replenish. So basically when I go to replenish my inventory, I'm filling my backstock wall. I'm not necessarily ordering what I need. I'm ordering what I'm out of. I like to have like 3 to 5 bags of every color at all times. So that's really kind of sparse right now. At the end of the year, I wasn't about to order, you know, a bunch of balloons. So I can refill that wall a little bit. The reason I said that this system is working pretty well is because the balloons themselves are kind of a mess. I was mostly a Qualitex user. That was a balloon brand that, you know, has been around for a long time, and they went bankrupt. So they closed, and now I'm in between brands. So I have brands. I have probably, looking at it, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm using like 6 different brands right now, and it's kind of a nightmare. So one of the big projects that I need to do, and that's definitely not going to be something I tackle today, but I need to figure out the brands. I need to figure out the colors. There's no reason to be using 6 brands of balloons. I think it just leads to confusion. So I need to figure out what brands I'm using, in what colors, stick to those colors, and anything that's not in that decided color palette, I need to get off my shelves and kind of get out of there, because it gets confusing. I am lucky that I have a really big installation coming up where I can use whatever color balloons I want. So one of the things I need to do is get all those off colors. They're perfectly good balloons. They're just not colors or brands that I want to keep, you know, stocked. I need to gather all of those up and make sure that I use those in this big upcoming event on this special project. Because that's a really good use to utilize the balloons, not let them go to waste, but also not let them confuse me, or more important, confuse my team. I know which color is a good substitute for another color, but people who are working with me might not. So that's where things get a little confusing. I just want very clear, very streamlined colors and inventory and brands this year. Speaking of that huge project, that big installation that I do, it's an annual event. So this is all leftover from last year. So this takes up a huge amount of space in my studio, and it's perfectly good balloons, but it's just more than will fit on my shelves, or brands that I'm not going to use, or supplies that I'm planning to use maybe in the future, but like there were weird things that I ordered for a special project that now don't have a home. So this is a huge problem point that I need to figure out. I need to either get it into a storage unit, I need to go through what's in there and figure out if it's anything I'm ever going to use. I've literally just been hiding it. So I need to tackle that and get that all sorted. This little nook here is kind of the only place where that cute couch might go, but I'm doubtful, because this feels like a lot of storage and wall space to give up for a cute couch, even though it would be cute. So I'm not sure. I need to see what everything looks like when it's cleaned out. And despite how this looks behind me, this is my inflation zone, and it actually functions really well. The inflators get stored under there. There's drawers of general supplies that we use. Nice big workspace. Electrical outlets are right there. The reason this has to be here is because I also have the heat source for the entire shop in this corner. So we inflate here and then kind of toss the balloons into the rest of the shop. If it were the other way and we were tossing balloons towards the heater, that would be a problem. So the actual like floor plan of where everything is actually functioning really well. So I don't have to move anything for the most part, but I just have to get organized. And ignore this trampoline. That's my workout plan, but I have no place to put it in my home, so it has landed out here in the middle of the shop. So that has to go as well. Here's where I've landed. Today, I'm gonna do a power clean. I think I'm gonna give myself like 10 minutes to just get all the garbage out. Then I think the next priority is put things away that already have a home. After that, today, I don't think I'm gonna tackle my color wall. There's a lot to be done there. That needs to be another project. So I think I'm going to tackle this disaster zone of supplies, even though I don't have a plan for it. I am hoping that some of the balloons in there now have space to go on the color wall, And then I think I'm just gonna pull out the balloons that I know will never fit into my inventory and set those aside for another project. Okay, and then the last thing that I wanna do is figure out a plan for this couch. So either get it in place over here or get it outside on the curb so someone can take it. Okay, so that's 30 minutes. However far I get is how far I get. Okay, that was my first 10 minutes. I'm actually just gonna set it for 10 more because power cleaning and putting things away kind of just blurred into the same category. I've made some good progress, but it's going fast. I have to tackle this pile, and I can't tell you how much I don't want to do it. Also, I can't do math, and this does not add up to 30 minutes. But I put things away to the best of my ability. Next up is the supply pile. I already know the couch just isn't gonna happen. Like, I want it to fit there. It doesn't make sense. So I have to get it outside, but it's snowing, I'm tired, and I think I'm not gonna do that today. So I suck. I'm gonna let myself off the hook. I'm gonna tackle the supply project for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna be done. This, I think, in a nutshell, is the problem. It's when things have a place to go, I'm super motivated, I can do it quick. When there's not a home or I have too much of something, I just avoid it for literally months, like months and months. This has been here for a year, and my plan is to just use it up this year in this same big project. So I'm gonna kind of go through it knowing that most of the stuff doesn't have a home, but now I need to start thinking of ways to sort and categorize that for this year's project and install. It's in 3 months, so I'm kind of in the design phase of this large install. So it's hard. I don't know if I can really design around the colors that I have, but certain things, like I have a whole box of green, different shades of green. And the theme this year for this huge project is under the sea. So with that in mind, I know that can all be like seaweed. So I think I'm gonna keep that box of green kind of separated. And then I don't know, see what else is in there. Maybe it's not as bad as I think. It's bad. Okay, this was all white that I can put right on my shelf. So that feels productive. So I can get rid of that whole box. Green. Okay, it kind of feels impossible to make any progress on this pile. I do have a pile of foils that need to be sorted, which I think would be a good job for Kate when she starts working regularly next week. So I'm not gonna do that. I don't have a plan. These are all 36-inch green. I'll never use that much green in my life. So I don't know what to do about that. These are nice balloons that I don't want to, I don't want to use for like a goofy project. They're like a nice Prosecco, so I need to put those somewhere. I need more storage for balloons that aren't colors I use every day, but I'm going to use eventually. The problem is, when those opportunities come up to use those balloons, I forget I have them. So that is another problem I need to solve. That's for another day. So basically, I think my next step for this pile is to start designing and really kind of dialing in my design for this large install. It's called the Balloon Adventure. I'll make a video about it. It's like a year-long process, planning and designing, but if I can use a lot of these balloons for that, I will make progress in both areas. Plus, these are already paid for, so that's a really profitable way to design. But, you know, I don't want to cut corners and get lazy, so if the colors don't work, they don't work. But green I can use as seaweed, red maybe like an octopus, or like a big crab. That would be cool. So basically I'm just gonna put all this stuff back where it was, and that's kind of all the progress I can make, unfortunately. But I did make good progress today. I'm gonna kind of put everything back together and then kind of show what I did in about 40 minutes total. So not bad. I think I might try again tomorrow to kind of refine some of these areas that still feel cluttered. I definitely need to do a lot of sorting and organizing. My color wall needs an overhaul because I'm getting rid of some colors and bringing some new colors in. But again, can't do it all today. I'm pooped, so I'm gonna just pack things back up and do another kind of quick sweep and be done. Okay, actually now that I'm looking at this is a big difference. It was like out to here before. So basically I pulled out the foils, which have places to go. They're just not sorted, and someone else can do that. So I feel good about that. I got rid of a whole thing of white that was just sitting here. That was able to go on my shelf. I actually kind of got like a second wind. I think I'm gonna eat lunch and then do a little bit more. Okay, I'm back. Final push. I just had a realization that up here, 2 or 3 of these bins are called random latex, and they're old balloons that I'm probably never gonna use. So I'm gonna pull those down, and I've started a box of just like miscellaneous loose balloons. They all just fell all over the floor. Okay, I'm back, and I had this realization that up here in this storage area, I have a couple of bins that are just miscellaneous balloons. So some like oddball prints, some of them are old, some of them I have like 3 left, and I never use those. So I'm gonna pull all those down, and I'm going to start a bin of just mixed loose random balloons, because I have a project that requires a lot of uninflated balloons. So by freeing up that space, I can get some of these like nice keepable balloons, like ones that I don't have a spot for but I'm going to use eventually. I'm gonna put those up there. So by rearranging, I think I can kind of wrap this up and feel like I've made some good progress here. Okay, so that's where I'm gonna end. So by pulling all of those old miscellaneous balloons out of my inventory, I have now ended up with a cleaned up bin of prints and then 2 like updated bins of miscellaneous latex. So these are things that I'm not gonna just, you know, use up, like chrome balloons or expensive balloons that I just don't have a place for. But now these are gonna go back in the bins, which has left me with 2 new boxes, unfortunately. This is a box of miscellaneous 11-inch balloons. And then I have a miscellaneous 16, 18-inch. But those I have a need for in the immediate future for a project, and I'm gonna share more about that. But I feel good about those boxes because now that's already saved me a step that I needed to do in the future. So I'm just gonna put everything away. I have kind of cleaned out a lot of old stuff. I didn't quite get this cleared out. I didn't get a place for the couch, but that's okay. I at least have a floor again that I can see and kind of a path forward on my organization. So I'm gonna keep working on that this year, but going into January 1st, first day of the year, I've definitely made a lot of progress. So feel great. All right, curb couch is to fight another day.